And we're going to start late model qualifying right now. Our first qualifier on the track out of Albany, Oregon, is Swartz Chassis, sponsored by James Gang Pizza. This is Bryson James in the number 13. James on the clock. He's going to work that high groove right through turns 1 and 2. The car got a little upset there at the apex. He's on the throttle down the backstretch. He'll work the bottom groove through turns 3 and 4. Looking good on lap number 1. First qualifying lap on the clocks for Bryson James, 15.480, 15.480. Still committed to the high side through turns 1 and 2. That top groove, very dark down there, a lot of moisture. He's right back to the gutter of turns 3 and 4. Very smooth out of the fourth turn. Across the stripe, lap number 2, 15.488, 15.488. Very consistent.
Coming out next is going to be the 22G of Paul Guglielmani, 57-year-old young, driving a Victory Circle chassis, Bailey Brothers. Vaca Valley excavating. He is definitely, Corey and Mike, he's running the bottom out of turn 1 and 2. Is he going to commit himself over there? He does. He commits himself over there on the bottom of turn 3 and 4. First time out, it's going to be a 15.955. 15.955 first time for Paul Guglielmani.
Well, watching Paul, he's already having a hard time hooking it up down at a turn 2. A lot of sun on the racetrack, very dry, slick. Bring him home, Josh.
Coming out of turn number 4, stops the clocks at a 15.991.
Next up is going to be the 7. That is Mike Kirby in the 7 car. Coming out here. He's got the Coors Light Mobile on the side there. WFO chassis as well.
It's a great-looking race car.
It is. It's a beautiful car. Ran a couple years ago by Cody Laney, who's not running tonight. But
who I just happened to call was driving that car last night. So that's Mike
Here
Kirby
goes,
in the
first
7.
lap. 15.560. Hugging the gutter all the way around on 1 and 2. Going up the backstretch. Gets a little loose. Back down to the gutter he goes. Turns it sideways. Keeps it going. Hammer down to the start. It's going to be 15.503.
Next qualifier on the track in the number 96. This is Matt McKelly. McKelly had an all right run last night. He kept the car clean, didn't tear it up. I mean, you got in that group of cars in the middle of the pack that was just kind of racing each other and had nowhere to go. So far, we'll see what he can do here on night number 2 as he's looking good through turns 3 and 4. Kind of had to park it there at the apex, back on the throttle. Lap number 1 for the 96 of McKelly. He'll stop the clock 16.134, 16.134. See what he can do here on lap number 2 if he can pick that up. We're going to use the better of 2 qualifying laps here, the Bud Nationals. Get 2 qualifying attempts as back-to-back laps. And the second lap for Matt McKelly in the 96. A little faster with a 15.987, 15.987. The number 15, next qualifier on the track is Bill Eagleston. Eagleston out of Merced. Old school look, the old school 15 Steve Francis style number on the side of the car. We'll pick him up at a turn 4, lap 1 for Eagleston. He'll stop the clocks with a 16.250, 16.250. Now, see, he looked pretty good out of turn 2. A lot of guys was buzzing the tires. He had just enough power to get out and looks really good into turn 3. Going to drift high out of turn 4 on the throttle, crossing the stripe. Lap number 2 in the books for Eagleston, 16.547, 16.547.
The next qualifier up coming out on the track is going to be the 27
Ron Bartels.
of Ron Bartels.
It's a WFO chassis.
Wood engines, Bartel 8, Harley Davidson sponsoring that car. A little loose coming out of turn number 2. He's going to set it up. Get back up on the bars out of 3 and 4. He's going to push all the way up to the wall coming out of turn 4. He's going to stop the clock the first time around. He's going to have a 16.489. 16.489. Running all the way down to the bottom of the gutter. Almost onto the apron. Trying to get that left rear. Trying to find some forward bite. Real loose. Has it all the way crossed up down the backstretch. Running in the middle, now trying to put that right rear on the cushion. On turn number 4, he will come across the stripe out of a 16.341.
Next on the track is yesterday's top qualifier, the 32B. That's from Watsonville. That's Clay Daly. Clay Daly in the ERC Race Fuels machine, owned by Pete Van Eiderstein. Also out there with the Twisted Motorsports going out. He's been running, he ran 4 classes yesterday.
4 classes.
And he's trying to do the same thing today with a hobby. This one, Pro Stock as well. At the line, 15.477.
15.447.
Or 15.447, excuse me. First one, staying to the high side in 1 and 2. diving down to the bottom through 3 and 4. Got that left front right on the berm. Cross the start-finish line. 15.271.
That is fast
top
time of the
qualifier
night.
so far.
In the number 91 tee out of Arroyo Grande, California, this is Tony Toast. That's a Rocket chassis sponsored by J. Dickens Racing Engines, Papich Construction, Central Coast Tires. One of the most competitive guys here in this field this weekend. Tony Toast, very excited about night 2. He likes these kind of track conditions. He'll complete lap number 1 with a time of 15.229, 15.229. Good enough for fast time. That is the new fast time of the night. He's looking good down the backstretch, hard into turn 3. Kept it down in the gutter, eases the throttle out, back on the throttle out of turn 4. Right rear tire in the cushion at the stripe. 15.302, 15.302.
Coming out next, ladies and gentlemen, you know who this is. West Coast, all the way up from Oregon. From Salem, Oregon, this is the 30.
Jeremy Shank.
Jeremy Shank, Left Coast Motorsports, Pacific Auto Cell.
That is a Swartz chassis.
Jeremy's first time around. He runs the middle out of 1 and 2. He's going to come to the white flag. He's going to stop the clocks out of 3 and 4. All the way down to the bottom, almost slow down to the bottom, trying to get that left rear, trying to get that forward bite. A 15.632. 15.632 first time for Jeremy Shank.
Now, we watched Shank work the bottom almost all night last night. He likes that low groove. These Swartz cars on a dry, slick track are about as good as you're going to get in the dirt late model race.
This is my guy that I believe is going to have 15.423, ladies and gentlemen. Third fastest so far for Jeremy Shank.
All right, on that track right now is the number 12. That is Nick Bartels, another WFO chassis car with the Harley-Davidson, Bartels, Harley-Davidson, and Mike Effler helping out on that vehicle. It's a Victory Circle chassis. These guys came in full force. I think they brought like 7 cars with them this weekend, going way high through 3 and 4, trying to carry momentum all the way around. First one, 15.787. High side through 1 and 2. Gets a good run out of 2. Keeps the power to the ground. Starts to hug a little bit lower. Slides up high through 3 and 4. Coming out of 4 across the start-finish line. Stops the clock at 15.559.
Next qualifier on the track in the number 10 in out of Bakersfield. This is the Sandman, Rob Sanders. We talked with him earlier on Moxie Media Promotions Facebook page. He is pumped about tonight's racing here at the Bud Nationals. Thinks he has a real shot to pick up the trophy on the high side all the way through turns 1 and 2, right rear tire in the cushion. Look at him. He's going to work the high side all the way around Bakersfield Speedway, looking like he's testing for the feature. Lap number 1, 15.758, 15.758 for the 10 in of Sanders. Sanders looking good. Now that engine right there, 452 cubic inches. He's pushing 1,000 horsepower. He'll drift it high out of turn 4 and cross the line for lap number 2. 15.616, 15.616.
Coming out next is going to be the 2B. This is Bobby Hogue.
Bobby Hogue, the winningest driver here at the Budweiser Nationals. That is
Man.
a Victory Circle chassis sponsored by Vacaville Excavating.
Vacaville Excavating coming out of turn number 2 down the backstretch, all the way against the backstretch wall. He is also, hopped the cushion a little bit over there on the bottom coming out of turn number 4. First time around is going to be a 15.423 for Bobby. Bobby all the way back up to the top shelf. Power down, never lifting. Ladies and gentlemen, he is going to sit there all the way back down to the bottom again. He's going to get that left front on the bottom groove.
This will be a good lap.
Coming out of turn number 4, he's going to stop the clock. 15.408, third fastest.
Next one up right now is the 21 from Arroyo Grande. That is Devin Crockett. Devin Crockett's a 2015 Santa Maria Raceway track champion in the super late models. Sponsored by Crockett Auto Bodies.
That is a great looking race
It
car,
is.
the number
It's
21.
beautiful. They put out some beautiful machinery out there.
That is a great
Coming
look.
through 3 and 4. Taking a middle groove this time. Not too high,
Interesting line.
not too low. 16.874. To the bottom he goes. Keeps it going. Locks up that left front up there. Get it to stop. Get it to sit. Coming through 3 and 4. Still not quite as high as everybody else. Trying a middle line there. Cross the start-finish line, 16.321.
Next qualifier on the track on the 57. This is Royce Hull. This is the driver, Josh, that we saw earlier in the year up at Willamette Speedway in Oregon.
Yes, we did.
For the Clare Cup. He come up with
Put on a pretty good performance up there also.
He ran pretty good for his first time there. It's a tough place to race. We'll see what Royce can do here on lap number 1. Great looking race car with, like you said last night, the fish scale style numbers. Number 57, Royce Hull, lap number 1. He'll lay down a lap time of 17.099, 17.099. Work the middle groove through turns 1 and 2.
Looks pretty good coming out of turn number 2 down the backstretch.
Just opened that thing up, shaking the Mike Mosier Tower clear from across the racetrack, using the horsepower out of turn 4, lap 2, 17.280, 17.280.
Coming out next on the track is going to be the 11X of Steve Drake out of St. Louis, California, running a rocket chassis.
San Luis Obispo.
San Luis Obispo, yeah.
San Luis Obispo, there you go.
Us
Drake
Californians
Excavation,
call it slow. Just make it easy for you.
Drake Farm Trucking, Wolfpack Racing, 19 late model champions, 2015 Budweiser National winner, 15.239. Ladies and gentlemen, second fastest. Looks a little bit quicker coming out of turn number 2. Does he have anything for the 91? That is a quick time. A little bit of a push, a little bit of throttle push coming out of turn number 4, all the way up against the blocks. 15.338, a little bit slower. Good enough for second fast.
Next up on the track, the number 17. That's Lightning Larry Childress.
Childress in the number 17.
Another victory circle car coming out here to the bottom side. Gets a big push out of 2. Goes up the track. Has to check up. Going through 3 and 4. Getting real low. Through 3 and 4. Hugging the inside gutter. Hammer down. Gets it at 15.966. That left wheel will not leave the gutter. He's trying to carry that thing loaded up on that right side the whole time. Gets it in. Please give him some traction, he says, as he keeps the throttle down. 15.906.
Next qualifier on the track in the number 2E. This is Ethan Dotson. This is a car that I believe is owned by Bobby Hogue. He's driving the car for Hogue as Hogue is driving the car owned by Paul Guglielmone.
Right?
Look at Dotson, wicked fast across the top of turns 1 and 2.
Didn't even lift going into 1 and 2.
That victory circle chassis looking very good out there right now as he works lap number 1 on the gutter at a turn 4. A ton of forward bite. This will be a good lap. 15.728, 15.728, right back to the top side of the racetrack through turns 1 and 2. Dotson looking very comfortable in his number 2 car. He was very fast in the modified last night, right down to the bottom of turns 3 and 4. Some good forward bite out of the 4th turn across the stripe. 15.927, 15.927. Our next qualifier, our final car of the night in the number 75. This is Dino Napier. Believe this car, Mike, is owned by Tom Malcolm. Am I correct when I say that?
I believe so. I believe this is the one that's owned by Malcolm.
We'll see what Napier can do here on lap number 1 of his first qualifying attempt. He'll stop the clocks at the stripe with a time of 16.043, 16.043. A lot of the late qualifiers, guys, using the high side of the racetrack, 2 turns 1 and 2, and diving right down up on the apron in turns 3 and 4. And look at the middle groove that Napier used. Went right through the center of turns 3 and 4. Lap 2, 16.779, 16.779.
Next one up on the track right now is the number 6 car. It's the Signcraft sponsored vehicle driven by Larry Wise. He was supposed to qualify 3rd in our running order, but didn't get the car out there in time, able to tag the back of the field to at least get some qualifying in there for him. Goes to the high side through 1 and 2. This is only the 3rd time he's been in the car. 1 test session, the first race yesterday and today. As he comes out of 3 and 4, keeping the motor down, keeping the power in. 15.899. Goes through 1 and 2, slides up into high into 2. Looks like he shut it down. Might have an issue there. Something he didn't like. The motor says no, and he goes, okay, fine. I'm listening to you this time.
He might even, the caution flag is out. There might even be debris over there in turn number 2. You might have dropped something. I don't know. That car just didn't sound too well coming out of turn number 2.
Oh, it was out of order, so he only gets a 1 lap of qualifying. That would explain
our producer up here.
Much appreciated for that information. That's a track rule that we're not real familiar with, but
and soon as Larry Wise comes off the track, what's going on the track? Water.
Well, he's watering the pit area. We'll see what Schweitzer and those guys do. But
getting ready for opening ceremonies for you listening on Moxie Media and promotions on our Spreaker app and Facebook Live. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. That concludes our qualifying for late models for tonight. Getting ready to have night number 2, and we will see you at the races.
Well, for those of you listening home on Spreaker Radio, I want to say thanks for joining us here for qualifying night number 1, or night number 2 of the Budweiser Nationals. Your fast qualifier of the night is a 91T of Tony Toast with a time of 15.229. very good lap, and it came early in qualifying.
Yeah, but 15.299, that's